Hey y'all, it's me, your friendly neighborhood English major, and today I'm here to show you something you may not have noticed about the greatest movie ever made. To those who know it, Casablanca needs no introduction. And if you haven't seen it, I'm telling you right now, pause this video, clear your schedule, and go watch it. Trust me. Casablanca, well, I think Roger Ebert said it best. When it comes right down to the movies we treasure most, when we are, let us imagine, confiding the secrets of our heart to someone we think we may be able to trust, the conversation, sooner or later, comes around to the same 7 words. I really love Casablanca. I do too. But I'm not here to discuss the merits of Casablanca as a movie. I'm here to tell you about the homoerotic subtext. We tend to think of Casablanca as a love triangle between Rick, Ilsa, and Victor Laszlo, when in fact, it's more like a love square, or even a love pentagon. At the very beginning of the movie, a shady man named Ugarte comes to Rick and asks him to hide the MacGuffin.
May I? Too bad about those 2 German couriers, wasn't it?
They got a lucky break. Yesterday, there were just 2 German clerks. Today, they're honored dead.
You're a very cynical person, Rick, if you forgive me for saying so.
I forgive you.
Thank you. Will you have a drink with me, please?
No.
Oh, I forgot you never drink with any... I'll have another, please. Yes, monsieur.
Rick is rude to him. Even for Rick. Write that down. There's gonna be a quiz later. After that, we meet Louis, the corrupt chief of police.
Et moi, je vous dis que l'attitude de l'Italie est immonde. Qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait sans l'armée allemande? Et la Grèce. Ce pauvre petit pays de Grèce, mon cher. Viens.
If he gets a word in, it'll be a major Italian victory. The plane to Lisbon. You would like to be on it?
Why? What's in Lisbon?
The clipper to America. I've often speculated on why you don't return to America. Did you abscond with the church funds? Did you run off with the senator's wife? I like to think that you killed a man. It's the romantic in me.
It's a combination of all 3.
And what in heaven's name brought you to Casablanca?
My health. I came to Casablanca for the waters.
The waters? What waters? We're in the desert.
I was misinformed.
He and Rick seem to be friends. Rick laughs and smiles with him in a way that he doesn't with anybody else. Except in the past with Ilsa, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Louis tells Rick that a famous resistance leader, Victor Laszlo, is coming to Casablanca.
There is a man arrived in Casablanca on his way to America. He will offer a fortune to anyone who'll furnish him with an exit visa.
Well, what's his name?
Victor Laszlo.
Victor Laszlo.
Rick, that is the first time I've ever seen you so impressed.
Well, he succeeded in impressing half the world.
It's my duty to see that he doesn't impress the other half. Rick, Laszlo must never reach America. He stays in Casablanca.
It'll be interesting to see how he manages.
Manages what?
His escape?
Oh, but I've just told you, Rick.
Stop it. Escaped from a concentration camp. The Nazis have been chasing him all over Europe.
This is the end of the chase.
20,000 francs. Says it isn't.
Is that a serious offer?
I just paid out 20. I'd like to get it back.
Make it 10. I'm only a poor, corrupt official.
Okay.
Done. No matter how clever he is, he still needs an exit visa.
Louis, whatever gave you the impression that I might be interested in helping Laszlo escape?
Because, my dear Ricky, I suspect that under that cynical shell, you're at heart a sentimentalist.
My dear Ricky. What? Not only are Rick and Louis friends, but they seem to be very good friends. People call Rick a lot of things. Rick, boss, and on occasion, Richard. But Ricky? What really surprises me is not that Louis takes that liberty, but that Rick lets him. Rick just doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would take kindly to nicknames. Never mind pet names. Shortly after that, Louis has Ugarte arrested.
Thank you.
fool. You can't get away.
But Rick, hide me. Do something. You must help me, Rick. Do something.
Come on.
Rick! Rick!
Excellent, Captain. When they come to get me, Rick, I hope you'll be more of a help.
I'd stick my neck out for nobody.
Later, we find out that he died in police custody, if you take my meaning. Then, Victor Laszlo and Ilsa show up at Rick's. Louis goes over and talks to them.
Rick, who's he?
Mademoiselle, you're in Rick's. And Rick is,
Is what?
Well, Mademoiselle, he's the kind of man that, well, if I were a woman and I were not around, I should be in love with Rick.
Come on, Louis. Don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
Well, you were asking about Rick, and here he is. Mademoiselle, may I present...
Hello, Ilsa.
Hello, Rick.
Oh, you've already met Rick, Mademoiselle. I can't get over you two. She was asking about you earlier, Rick, in a way that made me extremely jealous.
Now, out of context, it would be easy to take Louis's words at face value. But, given everything else that happens, I wonder, is he saying he's jealous of him? Or jealous of her? Later that night, when Rick is drowning his sorrows, he says,
They grab Ugarte, then she walks in. Well, that's the way it goes. One in, one out.
Now, if he isn't talking about his exes, then what is he talking about? Louis sleeps with women in exchange for exit visas. And at one point, a young lady comes in and asks Rick if Louis is going to keep his word to her.
Monsieur Rick,
Yes?
could I speak to you for just a moment, please?
How'd you get in here? You're underage.
I came with Captain Reno.
I should have known.
My husband is with me, too.
He is. Well, Captain Reno's getting broad-minded. Sit down.
Rick, you sly dog. As you can see, the relationship dynamic in Casablanca is a little more complex than a love triangle. Rick and Laszlo are both in love with Ilsa. Ilsa loves Laszlo in her own way, but she loves Rick more. Louis has a huge, embarrassingly obvious crush on Rick, and Rick and Ugarte had an awkward one-night stand or something. Later, at the airport, as the plane is taken off, Louis says,
Well, I was right. You are a sentimentalist.
Stay where you are. I don't know what you're talking about.
What you just did for Laszlo, that fairy tale you invented to send Ilsa away with him. I know a little about women, my friend. She went, but she knew you were lying.
Anyway, thanks for helping me out.
I suppose you know this isn't going to be very pleasant for either of us, especially for you. I'll have to arrest you, of course.
As soon as the plane goes, Louis.
Then Major Strasser rolls up to ruin everybody's day.
Get away from that phone.
I would advise you not to interfere.
I was willing to shoot Captain Reno, and I'm willing to shoot you.
Hello.
Put that phone down.
Get me the radio tower.
Put it down.
Major Strasser has been shot. Round up the usual suspects.
Oui, mon capitaine.
Prenez cette voiture. Et vous, prenez-la.
Who's the sentimentalist now, Louis?
Well, Rick, you're not only a sentimentalist, but you've become a patriot.
Maybe, but it seemed like a good time to start.
I think perhaps you're right. Might be a good idea for you to disappear from Casablanca for a while. There's a free French garrison over at Brazzaville. I could be induced to arrange a passage.
My letter of transit? I could use a trip. But it doesn't make any difference about our bet. You still owe me 10,000 francs.
And that 10,000 francs should pay our expenses.
Our expenses?
Mm-hmm.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
4 people walk onto that tarmac, and 2 couples walk off. Wistful, but happy, if not in the way that they thought they would be. At its heart, Casablanca is a movie about love and sacrifice. It says, love cannot conquer all, and sometimes we must put aside our personal feelings for the greater good. Rick is a cynical loner who sticks his neck out for nobody. But his love for Ilsa brings out a nobler side of him, a side that is willing to fight, to kill, and perhaps even to die for the greater good. And when you think about it, the same sort of thing happens with Louis. He is a corrupt government official who uses his power for his own personal gain. He's even more ignoble than Rick, because while Rick used to be a kinder person, there is no evidence that Louis was ever anything more than the lecherous scumbag we see him as in the beginning of the movie. And yet, when faced with the choice of either turning Rick in or keeping his job, he chooses to lie for Rick. He chooses to defy the Nazis for Rick. And he chooses to fight, to kill, and perhaps even to die by Rick's side. Casablanca says, love cannot conquer all, and sometimes we must put aside our personal feelings for the greater good. But don't despair. After all, there are plenty of fish in the sea. I think that's part of the reason why the ending of Casablanca is so happy. Rick may not get the girl, but he gets the boy, and the boy gets him. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and here's looking at you, kid.